Hello. Today I'm going to talk with you about the Trecena of Tz'ikin, and of course, I want to start by saying I recognize I'm a bit late. In fact, funnily enough, the last time that I was recording a video on what I don't consider to be the ideal day to be doing it was actually one Ajmak, and here I am on two Ajmak 40 days later with kind of the same message. Unfortunately, life got in the way. There were a few unforeseen circumstances due to travel situations and that kind of thing. And so I'm a bit late recording this video. So I thank you all who expressed a concern about my well-being. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. And sometimes life just got in the way and it wasn't possible to do it. So anyway, here I am, ready to talk with you about the Trecena of Tz'ikin. What's it all about? Well, the first thing that I would like to say is new vision, really. Tz'ikin, the visionary that brings us the abundance being a way to thrive. Now, we talk about this abundance, and I think it's really important to be clear. This is not talking about a material thing necessarily. Yes, we would see Tz'ikin days celebrated as days of business. If you were in Mayan village, you may find people burning green candles or green sugar on a Tz'ikin day. You might find them opening businesses on a Tz'ikin day specifically for that because they want it to prosper. We have also kind of like from our own points of view, maybe we have kind of like a feeling that of course we want to get away from like maybe capitalistic or commercial systems as such and that kind of thing, and we don't want to attach it. But one way or another, we need to put food on the table. We want our family to thrive. We want our children to grow strong, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, of course, as well. And this is what thriving is all about. And this is what our vision leads us to. It's not about numbers on a bank balance. It's not about, kind of like those kind of things. It's about making sure that our children, our family, our environment thrives. And we have to have a vision to do that. Tz'ikin is the ideal time to bring these visions into being or conceive of a new one. So, as we will see, one Tz'ikin bringing in the new vision, the one being the birth, the beginning, the novelty, the new, and Tz'ikin being the visionary that brings in something new. It's time to see things in a new way. Maybe it's time to start work on a new vision. Maybe you've completed the last vision that you had and it's time to get going with it. And so this is what one Tz'ikin can bring in for us, and maybe it was a very good day to capture that new vision or conceive of that new vision or ask for a new vision. From one Tz'ikin, we're then going into two Ajmak, a day of forgiveness. But also, like, I see the division of the two, the duality of the two, being right, okay, we can see things in very much in black and white on 2 days. And so here we're seeing things in black and white in order to forgive. Maybe we're kind of like, cutting things down to their bare bones in order to understand exactly how and where to forgive things. The two can also represent relationships, and so maybe there's something that you need to ask for forgiveness for or forgive your partner for or something like that. Tu Ajmak Day is a great day for that kind of thing. And of course, looking at it from the Tz'ikin Trecena, we could be looking at it very much as Ajmak being a day to release the burdens of guilt or blame or shame so that you can get on with your new vision. But the two giving it this very kind of like fine detail as to whether, okay, that's something I have a possibility to change through redemption. That's what I can change through forgiveness. And this is something which I've just got to accept. It's not going to change. And so Tu Ajmak may bring up both of those kind of things as to, right, okay, these are the ones that I can forgive and change, and these are not. So I just got to get on with it if I'm to bring this new vision into the world. From two Ajmak, we're then going into three Noch. So Noch being the mind, the brain, the thought, the knowledge, the intellect. And the number three, representing home, representing the inner world. This is time. Now, when three is mentioned, there has been in the past in particular, and I've certainly seen this myself, this idea of some form of obstruction challenges, difficulty. And certainly I still write about that. But what I see really is that the 3 is this external challenges. And it's asking us to focus on ourselves. If we can't go that way, we go this way. And so the 3 noch is asking us to look inside for the knowledge, look inside for the intellect, look inside for the understanding of how to solve a problem. And this is all within this Trecena of new vision. So it's almost like saying, okay, in order to get your new vision moving, in order to kind of like in order to work with it, look inside for the knowledge, look inside for the information that you need, that it all exists in here already. And it may not be the time to be looking outside. In fact, you might find yourself confused. You might find yourself obstructed. If you try to go looking for more knowledge to come in, you've already got it within you. So 3 Noch is a great day to connect with that inner knowledge and use it to solve the problems that are standing between you and bringing your new vision into being. From 3 Noch, we're then going into 4 Tijax. So Tijax, a day of healing. Tijax also seen as, the day of cutting things away, the day of, bringing things into balance, cutting away the superfluous in order to bring out the true divinity, to bring out perfection. It's a day of the sculptor. So we can see that, but here with the number 4, and so this is really very much a physical day. So if there was a physical surgery that you had to have, 4 Tijax would be a great day to do that on. Also dentistry would be great on 4 Tijax, those kind of things, because it's kind of like the energy is with the healing principle of surgery. For example, the surgeon's knife being very skillfully guided in the physical realm on 4 Tijax. But this is also, when we look at it as Tijax cutting away that which you don't need anymore, what is it? Where is it? It's in the physical realm. What don't you need to be carrying with you? What needs to be edited out of the physical aspect of your life in order for you to bring that new vision into being? 4 Tijax may bring that up very strongly, very starkly. And Tijax, there is this element of like, it's going to make that cut. The surgery is not necessarily always going to be painless, but it's something which we need to go through in order to promote the healing, in order to bring that new vision in. We got to cut ourselves free from certain things. And 4 Tijax is an ideal day to identify and use that blade skillfully to release ourselves. From 4 Tijax, we then go into 5 Kawok. Kawok, another healing day. Here comes the caregiver after the surgeon. Here comes the one with the salve, the compassionate healer. Now, it doesn't mean that compassionate healer is not a bit pushy as well as that midwife, or, she's pushing us through to go through this rebirthing process. She knows what's good. She knows when she's got to rip the Band-Aid off. And so Kawok, we also see a tough love. The number 5 representing the work, the hard work that might come along with it. It's putting your work into healing, putting like your healing into your work as well. It's this mixture of compassion, the drive to see new life coming into the world, but also to understand that it doesn't get there on its own. The 5 very much having to put the energy in. Now, Kawok could also be the storm, and sometimes we've got to weather the storm. And maybe this is a day of putting our effort, putting our concentration, our energy into kind of like finding our way through the storm. Maybe you feel like metaphorically or physically the rain is beating in your face as you're walking through this Trecena. You're walking towards your vision. Sometimes you have to walk through the storm to get there, because that same storm that's dropping the rain now, that's the reason why the roses are going to grow there later, to use a rather cliched way of looking at it. But that's what the water does. That's what the rain does. It brings this growth. And the 5 suggests we're going to have to draw on our own energetic reserves to get ourselves through that storm so that we can move into that new way of life, into that new vision. From 5 Kawok, we're then going into 6 Ajpu. So Ajpu representing our spiritual path, representing the sun, representing the divinity within each one of us, what we're going to, our ultimate hero. That hero dwells within us. And the number 6 representing the number of stability, the number of family. So, we can see a couple of things here. When I was talking about, 40 hash, 3 noch, even 2 Ajmak and 5 Kawok, these are all days where we're looking at going, well, we've got that obsidian blade, we've got that storm, we've got energy, we've got work, you've got whole bunch of things going on there. And then we get to 6 Ajpu. And finally, it feels like maybe the calm has come after the storm. Maybe we are, kind of like settling down here because we have this number of ultimate stability connected with Ajpu representing our spiritual path. And so this is certainly something we would imagine to be in this Trecena of new vision. What have we got? The stabilizing our spiritual path right in the middle of it. We've got this ability to bring in and see the divinity if we didn't recognize it much before or whatever. But if we're talking about Ajpu representing the recognition of divinity, and the number 6 representing family values and representing our families. So it's absolutely a great day to be recognizing the divine influence or the divine spirit of our own families and using our own path, using our, kind of like our own spiritual path to bring that into balance. There's also a day to be, kind of like bringing stability to our spiritual path ourselves as well. So certainly kind of like as a day to be working out your own spiritual path and how you can walk it in a stable way. 6 Aq'qb'al should be a good one. From 6 Ajpu, we move to 7 Imox. 7 Imox, the end of the dream. 7 representing death and endings. 7 representing the top of the pyramid. But also it's when we get to the top of the pyramid that we get the choice. Okay, where are we going to go next? But 7 is asking us to make that choice as well. And so once again, something that we would expect to be in this Trecena of vision is like, right, okay, you've climbed to the top of the pyramid using the dream that you've been following. What now? Make your choice. What dream do you want to bring into this vision? Because it's up to you to choose one, but choose you must. Which way are you going now, having completed that one? So 7 Imox would be a great day to tie up kind of like the loose ends of a dream that was in completion so that you can choose a new one to move forward with. From 7 Imox, we then move to the day 8 Ik, the day of communication, the words of ceremony perhaps. Ik, a wonderful day to communicate. It's about the divine breath, the air that fills our lungs, the ability to use our voices to communicate our ideas, to communicate our visions. And here we see it with the number 8, the number of wholeness, the number which represents all that is, as it were. The number which also represents ceremony. So this would be a wonderful day for any form of ceremony which involves breath or voice, whether you're into chanting or whether you're into breath work or whatever. 8 Ik would be a wonderful day to be making those kind of practices on. In addition to that, we can also see it as a totality of expression through the voice. Now, our voices, our words can be used with soft and gentle, inspiring words. They can also be used with harsh and angry words. And sometimes they might just be used with words which are just kind of to the point. Might be they're a bit blunt, but they get the job done. Well, 8 Ik is giving thanks for all of those and understanding when to use them, because sometimes the soft and gentle, inspiring words, they're wonderful. We all love using them. We all love bringing the people around us up with them and that kind of thing. But sometimes we might be in a situation where we need something a little bit more direct to get things moving, to get the vision moving. Sometimes we might also understand that 8 Ik may be a day on which we can draw on all the wholeness of our communication abilities in order to communicate our vision. because maybe we need to communicate it to this group in a different way to what we communicate with this group. Maybe this group likes, kind of like a more fluffy kind of language, and this group likes a more direct kind of language. It's about understanding how we all have the ability to communicate in many, many different ways and embracing them all for what they are and the times when we need to use them. From 8 Ik, we're then going into 9 Aq'qb'al. Aq'qb'al being the new concept. Aq'qb'al being the sunrise, the sunset, the twilight. And here we see it with the number 9, which can represent the feminine, but it can also represent life itself. Now, this could be the dawn of new life. 9 Aq'qb'al being a day of conception and life, so you can see exactly where that goes. So maybe some people might be enthusiastic for that day. Maybe this is about the vision becoming a new concept for life on 9 Aq'qb'al. This is about taking things out of the darkness and bringing them into the light. And so 9 Aq'qb'al would be a fantastic day. There is an independence of the number 9 as well. And so it's kind of like to move independently with your new concept. I also look at this Aq'qb'al as being like the one that takes a dream out of the darkness and brings it into the light. And here we're bringing this dream to life, bringing the vision to life. And so there is a whole bunch of things that you could see with regards to your, how could it be like coming out with your dream, coming out with what you have to show to the world, your new concepts that you want to bring to life. 9 Aq'qb'al could be a fantastic day to do that. From 9 Aq'qb'al, we're then going to move to 10 Kat. So Kat, well, I was talking about release earlier on with the 4 Tijax, and here we are with 10 Kat coming in to, once again, we're looking at our burdens, we're looking at our connections. The cat being the net, that which binds us together, that which weaves everything together in a way as well, or holds everything together, which bundles. And here we have it with the number 10. The number 10 representing society. The number 10 representing our connection with each other. Also cooperation. Now, when we bring our new visions into the world, we're often going to need the cooperation of our society. But also, there are some things with our new visions that not all of society might necessarily agree with us. Not all of society might want to be involved with us. For example, Cat days are great days for sorting out which connections to keep and which connections to lose. And here we see 10 Cat, where are those connections being made within our community, within our society. So in order to bring in your new vision, then maybe there are some places where you're going to have to disconnect from some societal burdens, some societal or community expectations that are holding you back from achieving your new vision. But equally, when we release something, we make space for something new to come in. And maybe you need to release something within your community or society in order to embrace something else within that same community or society that's going to help to bring that new vision into being. Maybe it's some outmoded or, kind of like out-of-date concepts about society or community as well that you've got to let go of. But 10 Cat would be a great day to be doing that. From 10 Cat, we then go into 11 Can. So Can, the power and the wisdom. With the number 11, well, the 11 is a high and odd number. And it can be deeply creative because, it's, for me, I always think about it as being kind of like the road less traveled. It's the one that takes a different direction that we're not expecting in that. But when we can combine it with the Nawal Can, we have a lot of power. And the 11 can be, it's a strong and sometimes directionless Nawal and so, number. So, kind of like when you put those two together, it's a time to kind of be aware of what you're doing. Because Can, sometimes I think about the snake striking out with Can. Sometimes we think about the body lightning that comes with Can. you know. And these are things. Now, if you've got those things turned up, and you've got those things kind of not necessarily fully under control, then you can end up doing damage where you didn't mean to, or something along that sort of line. So with 11 can, I think it's really important to be very aware about where you're putting your energy on that day. A little goes a long way, and it might not necessarily go in the direction that you were expecting it to go into. So when you, or if you are choosing to use your energy, if you're choosing to use your wisdom on 11 can, just be aware of where you're putting your energy before you put it there, because it might kind of like have unintended consequences. That said, I was saying about the 11 being the one that walks the road less traveled, for want of better words. Well, this is also something that we might find with our wisdom, right? When we walk the same lines, when we go to the same library, we walk the same paths of wisdom and that kind of thing. Maybe we're going to get to a point where we can never really say there's nothing left to learn, but there's a certain lack of freshness that comes along. And maybe in order to bring this new vision to life in this Trecena of Tz'ikin, we need to go a little bit off-piste with our wisdom. We need to go and investigate different forms of wisdom. And this is where the 11 comes in really useful, because it takes us to different areas. It takes us to areas that we maybe didn't expect or weren't aware of. And so this is a very beneficial part of the 11 can, is keep your eyes open, keep your senses open to what may come from an unexpected location. What new wisdom might come into your life through following your intuition rather than following the beaten track. From 11 can, we're then going into 12 Kame. So Kame, the Nawal of the ancestors, the Nawal of the dead, the Nawal of transformation, the soul alchemist, as I like to see Kame, the one who puts us through sometimes our challenges, makes us face our fears so that we can transform, so that our soul can move up a level, as it were, move forward a level if you want. And what do we see it with? We see it with the number 12, the number which represents all of our life experience put together in one place. So when we see these two things together, yes, it's a strong number. Yes, it's a big number. Maybe this is going to be a rather large fear that comes up on this day, but it's time for it to come up. Why? Because you have the life experience to handle it. Do we want to face our fears? Well, actually, most of us, if we had the opportunity to follow an easy path, we would, right? But in order to bring this new vision into the world, maybe there's something you need to get over. The 12 would suggest that throughout your life, you've collected all the life experience you need to get over it. And here, Kame is going to bring you in the possibility for transformation. So, doesn't necessarily say that 12 Kame is not going to be a challenging day, but draw on your experience. What is being put in front of you is something that you have the life experience to get over. All you need to do is center yourself, take a breath, recognize that this is coming in at exactly the right time. You have the experience to get over it. And once you do, you can transform so that you can bring your life, your new vision to life. And then finally, from 12 Kame, we're moving into 13 Kech. Now, 13 Kech is also an extremely strong day. Kech being one of the strongest Nawals of the whole pantheon. And the number 13 obviously being connection to the spirit world. Now, Kech can be seen as having many different values and virtues. We have the connection with the wilderness. This is very strong with Kech. And here we see the number with the number 13, the number which represents spirit or the ancestors. This would be a great day to get out into the wilderness of your ancestors. This would be a great day to communicate with the ancestors or with spirit by getting out into nature. So if you feel that you need to be strengthened, if you feel that in order to bring your new vision in, you kind of like need some strength from your ancestors, this is a great time to go and walk on your ancestral wilderness, as it were. The other thing that we can see is that Kech can also represent leadership, in fact, spiritual leadership.
And so when we combine it with the number 13, this is also kind of like representing the ancestors. This is asking for guidance, perhaps, for spiritual leadership to come through the words of our ancestors or the connection with spirit. And so, again, maybe our ancestors are going to whisper to us as we walk in the wilderness to help us to understand how to lead and help to bring us the strength to bring our new vision into being. So, this has been the Trecena of Tz'ikin. I hope that it has been useful and informative, if slightly late. My apologies for that once again. And I look forward to seeing you in 13 days' time or so for the Trecena of Anil. Thank you.